sorry, wrong opening of Lacrosse NLL Talk. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now joining me on Lacrosse NLL Talk is, of course, Gary Groob, our co-host, and our special guest, Councillor Mark Grimes. Welcome to the show to both of you. And Mark, first off, you have been very involved in sports, and in fact, you had a lot to do with BMO being built. And the lacrosse connection is that you had lacrosse that was happening there on the grass, field lacrosse. First, tell us a little bit about the work you've done in the past and why it's so important to you to have places like BMO, because we're not just talking about BMO, we're talking about playgrounds, community places where people can, you know, enjoy their off time.
Yeah, so being elected back in 2003 in the city of Toronto, I quickly I was elected, shocked a lot of people my first time out. And when I got to City Hall, David Miller was the mayor at the time, and he said, "So hey, you're the hockey guy," because all they knew I coached hockey, coached lacrosse, and I said, "Well, David, I'm more than that. I'm a business guy. I own my own transportation company with my brother." So, but I quickly fell into the sports portfolio, which I feel very comfortable. And as you guys probably know, I have 5 kids, 4 boys and a girl. My daughter Colleen, very active in lacrosse. So the kids all played at Mimico. So, you know, just being a father of 5 kids and knowing how important sports are and keeping kids off the street. You see all the issues we're dealing with City Hall, you know, up in some of the priority neighborhoods. It's important that these kids have somewhere to go, whether it's a playground, Frank, like you said, or playing on a soccer field, or, you know, I was proud to bring the MasterCard Center, which is now the Ford Performance Center. I ran on that with Brendan Shanahan back in the day. So building the MasterCard Center, I brought the idea of BMO Field to the city, got it through council. So those are 2 of my proudest moments, but they're important, right? And, you know, and as the kids go through their minor careers and they end up in the pros, you see TFC coming. You know, it's a great excitement. You know, when we were younger, Frank, not so much Gary, but, you know, the soccer fly. But no, you know, it was built for the FIFA under 18. And look at the TFC is kind of taking the city. And we got the Argos back home, as you know. I'm the former chair of the Argo Foundation. So getting the Argos back home to Exhibition Place, where I'm the chair of, it was important to me. But, you know, we can't do enough for our kids to get them whether on a soccer pitch, in lacrosse box, playing hockey, basketball, baseball, whatever it is. It's important to me, and I feel most comfortable being the sports councillor in Toronto.
Yeah, I kind of remember that because I was one of the supervisors on the building of the MasterCard Center for the company that built it. It was a fun experience. We had, you know, the pad for the Leafs was the most precious one, and that's the one they decided to build first. And we had a roof leak when they were going to pour the concrete. I don't know if you're aware of that. They were doing the bottom part. It's all within millimeters, and I had to figure out a way to stop the water from dripping on the new concrete. That
was when I said my first in 2000. I ran. I went to my good friend Brendan Shanahan. He was endorsed me, but you know, we were talking about this 4-pad arena, and Brendan was playing for Detroit at the time. But to deliver that. I grew up there as a kid, played Faustino hockey, but to deliver that arena to my community, and now this is, you know, it's just not to our community. This is a worldwide city facility, and then the Leafs came in. But absolutely fantastic facility that was built since 1973, I believe, in the city of Toronto. We got the Olympic-size ice in there. Hockey Canada came in and said, look, we got $1 million from out west from the Flames Project 88. They gave us $1 million if we did put in a Olympic-size pad, which is the only second one in Toronto. But that MasterCard Center, I remember going through when we were building. I was there every day, taking pictures, looking. And then I went away for a couple of weeks. But when I got back, it quickly came together. And I remember going in the first time, walking the door, and Larry Tannenbaum was waiting there for me with a couple of the MLC executives. And then my knees were with Brian Burke was there, and I walked.
Yes, he was.
Oh, it was unbelievable for the opening. So to deliver that is just phenomenal to me, and you know, it's just a great facility, as is BMO Field. So
it was something that was built, not just people were misunderstanding it. They thought it was just built for hockey. It was built for everything, with sledge hockey, women's hockey. It promoted everything that we're talking about, because it's important to understand your background and where you come from. You know, you had a distant connection to helping with sports, and then a direct one. You talked about coaching and stuff like that. You know, and how hard it is to do things like that. You worked with the Lions Club to build that building. They basically,
So we'd heard about this arena for years before I was even elected. That they're going to build a 4-pad arena. It kind of was faltering, but once I got elected, I met with the Lions Club. We went down this road. I thought this could be a model for the city. We had some hiccups through, but the real driving force there, Frank, was getting MLSE involved and them coming in, prepaying their rent for 10 years. And I had a very frank conversation with the Lions Club and with MLSE saying, look, we're building this number one for the kids. I'm not building this for MLSE. We're building for the kids, the minor organizations. Faustina, number one of the oldest organizations in Toronto. But, you know, I said, look, they don't have a rate problem at the Old Lakeshore Lions Arena now. I want to make sure these rates aren't going to get out of hand. So we had a very frank conversation with MLSE and with the Lions Club. We got it all together. But, you know, building that was just phenomenal. But, you know, we have it's Hockey Canada, the Olympic program's training there. I sit on the board of the Hockey Hall of Fame. I'll be on there 19 years next year as director. But we brought in our archive space, which was a great tenant, Class A tenant. We've got Etobicoke Sports Hall of Fame in there. And obviously the Leafs and the Marlies is huge. And then we were starting to fill up that room upstairs where originally was a big restaurant was supposed to go there. But now we have some training facilities in there. NHL alum, my good friend Glenn Healy is in there. So it's a really fabulous facility. But you know what? It's great. It's just not a rink. It's home. You walk in there, lots going on.
It really is, you know, and it also has the Hockey Hall of Fame. A lot of stuff that they couldn't fit in the Hockey Hall of Fame is stored there. So it's a great facility. I loved watching the ground break and doing all the stuff there. It's amazing to watch something like that and to watch how the wheels turn. When Burke came to meetings, he took the meetings over, even though it was about construction. So, you know, it's great that you have people like that. I guess what I'm trying to say, Mark, is that it really is a community. For sports to survive, there has to be a community involvement.
Absolutely, for sure. And, you know, Brendan, my good friend, came in now. I took him through a tour through there when he was with, I think he was playing with the Rangers. We kind of went through a tour through there, and there he is now running the show for the Leafs. So getting him into a Leaf dressing room was very important to me. I used to go watch him. Troy's a very good friend. But, you know, Brendan knows better than everything. It's community number one, and MLSE has been fantastic to the local organization, Faustina, the Humber Valleys of the world. They've done a lot in my ward and a lot through the city where they're taking these outdoor rinks and redoing them. So, you know, it's good to see that. It's good to see the MLSE, you know, understanding, and they you know, they have to build their fan base. I mean, there's so much going on in the city now. You know, you saw the Wolf Pack. It's unfortunate, but you know, rugby's on the rise now. You know, cricket is now on the rise in our province, and you know, it's important that they keep promoting that game because we have a lot of new Canadians coming and don't know what lacrosse is. They don't know what hockey is, but you know, the international sport of the world is soccer. So, and you know, and cricket. So it's important that they do get involved and keep building their fan base.
Now, what can you take before we go to Gary? What can you take from your previous experience to help expand lacrosse and its ability to be, you know, predominant sport in Ontario, let's say, or in Toronto?
Well, you know, people always say, "What's your favorite sport?" And I say, you know, it should be hockey, but I absolutely love. My kids grow up in Mimico. You know, I have to tell you guys, you know, tailgating with the parents and watching your kids play in Whitby for the weekend. It's a family experience. It's fun, but the game is phenomenal. It's a really good game. You know, you got the Toronto Rock that came in a few years back, Bill Waters and Brad Waters, and it took the city. Like people went down and said, "Wow!" But I talked to the mayor about it one day. He goes, "I want to come out and see one of your games." And he goes, "I watched one game." He couldn't like people think it's a crazy game, but you come in and watch it. You guys know it's a great game, but you know, it's just a great game that we have to promote. It's nowhere to go but up. And before I took this gig on, when I was thinking it when they approached me, I talked to Nick Sakevich from the NL. I know him through Bill Manning. I'd met him before. I even thought about had a good chat with him. But I think it's very important that we partner with the NLL, and that was what I did right away. We did those 9 rule changes, but we can't sit back and kind of coming in and getting the lay of the land at the league, and just not our league. I think right across the country, people are kind of sitting back on their haunches, and we can't do that. We got to this U.S. box lacrosse is on the move in the States. You know, we can't sit back, and that's why I said let's look at the 9 rule changes. I went to Sean Angus out there at the Rocky Mountain League. I said, look, if any time to look at these rules is during this modified season, let's get together. He was on board. Unfortunately, BC just didn't see it that way. They didn't want to look at, but they backed out of the rule change. But I'll tell you, I'm sure you guys saw our season. They were so well received. We have a survey going out right now to our players, coaches, and referees to come back on those 9 rule changes that we're going to probably present to the CLA. But my plan is to keep these rules, and I've been talking to the commissioner out in the Rocky Mountain League, and hopefully they're going to be looking at too. But it was fantastic. The lacrosse was, the kids were a bit rusty. Those kids were off for, lost the whole season. But the first game a little bit rusty. But I'll tell you, the end of that third weekend, the kids were firing all cylinders, and it was great.
For our viewers, the 9 rule changes, you can do it briefly or to whatever extent you wish.
Well, there's a game. Like number 1 was like the goalie stick. We looked at the big wood goalie stick. We changed that to go to the smaller plastic that the NLL plays with. The 5-second rule out of the crease. It's 4 seconds. Getting the ball over. It's 10-second move that day. We had some concerns. I have a great advisory committee. We've got Eddie Como, Paul Dave, Derek Keenan. We had Cody Jameson on there, and Aaron Garrison, my new referee in chief. So we got together, we discussed it, we went through one by one of the rules, and we said, look, let's try them out. But it was unanimous that we bring this to the board. I brought it to the board. I had unanimous buy into it, but I said, I fully expect when these surveys come back, people like them, we're going to keep moving forward with them. But again, we have to, start working together. But everyone seems to be in their own silos. But that's, we hope we're going to bring that together.
Go ahead, Gary.
That's one of the things that we've had a number of referees on. We've had Bill Fox on. We've had a couple of other people on, and they keep talking about, the one thing that we keep shooting ourselves in the foot in is that we have all these different rules for all these different leagues. So by streamlining this more towards the NLL thing, I think is a great idea, because I think to have the kids ready for their next level to get to the NLL and already have those rules in place is a big bonus for them.
Well, Billy Fox, great guy, by the way. I met Billy Fox back in it was 97. We had the Founders Cup in Mimico. Just a great guy, and he gets it. But it's important that we do get together. And I'm hoping BC is going to come along. I know Sean Angus, they're on board, but we got to kind of get the CLA going. But there's a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks on these rule changes, and we're hoping that we're going to put them in. But to have all these different rules, it doesn't make sense to me. But I think they're just so well received. All the feedback I got was nothing but positive, and hopefully, this meeting coming in a couple weeks, we can get BC on board, this is just a start, guys. These 9 rules. There's others, but we didn't want to bite off too much, right? But
sure.
You know what? It was so well received. It was exciting. So, but no, we have to work together and stop being in our silos. We got to work together for the greater good of the game. And this game's got nowhere to go but up. When you see a guy like Wayne Gretzky, with Joe Tsai buying into Vegas, right? That is a great sign. Guys like that get in the game, and Wayne played the game, as you guys know. So, I've always tapped into to the guys that play in the NHL that it's a great game for summer conditioning, as you guys know. So the hockey and lacrosse fit together. But a lot of guys play the NHL. My good friend David Boland, Brendan Shannon out of Mimico. You got the Smith brothers, Brendan Riley, Rory. I don't want to forget anybody, but all those kids from Mimico, lots of kids went on to the NHL, which is it's a good sign.
So how did you get the gig? How did you get the original commissioner's gig with the OJLL?
Well, Jason Shuttleworth stepped in, I guess, when the former commissioner stepped down. There was no commissioner for a while, and my daughter, Colleen, who's quite involved, still at home, and then I met Jason Shuttleworth, that she was doing some work with Jason, and Jason came over to my office at our transportation company one night, and we had a little get together and started talking. He says, "You know what? You'd be a great commissioner." I need this, like I need a hole in the head. But you know what? After talking to Jason and talking to Colleen, kind of, it interested me. And like I said, all the experience I've had with stuff at City Hall, I thought, you know what? They need help, and I really couldn't say no. And here we are. So right off the hop, jumped right in the fire. I try to get, no season. I got a great relationship with the premier. So we talked with Minister McLeod's office, and we worked our way into the stage 3. And my original plan was to go to the Hill and play it outdoors, because stage 2 was we could play outdoors. So my original plan was to go up to the hill, play the game outdoors like it used to be played when Frank and I were young guys. But
drag me down. Go ahead. It's all right. It's all right.
I talked to Patrick Merrill up there, and they did a lot of work with us. And then we had the testing that was going to be a huge cost. And then talking to Minister McLeod's office, who's been a huge supporter of us getting back on the floor, they said, look, Councillor, you might want to just hold off your season for a couple more weeks. We think we're going to be in stage 3. We did that, and that probably saved us $200,000 at least on testing, because we had to test every player, every timekeeper, every referee. But we got away from that, which was great. And then when we knew that was coming on the pipe, we said, look, let's go out to the rock facility in Oakville and track, talk to Jamie. And Dawick was willing host, great guy. And you know what? We got lucky. I'd say we got lucky. We had 3 great weekends of lacrosse. It was, I just, every time I walked in, people were coming up to me. I didn't, don't even know me, but saying, even the kids, even the players are coming to me, which was pretty good. But like I said, we had a great team behind us to get that off the ground.
Well, that was a spectacular couple of weeks. Absolutely. Everything about that was first class. What you wound up doing is showing everybody and anybody that this could be done no matter what, and in a pinch. Because even down the class act JVI broadcasting it on YouTube all over the world, it was incredible.
Bill Greer stepped up and helped. We were writing our policy paper that we had to have for the public health, but Bill Greer was instrumental. It wasn't just me. We had a great team to get this off the ground, but it was phenomenal. It was great. And JVI coming in, we put that together at the last minute because I came in here. The funds were really not in place at that point, but we went out and we raised a big pile of cash in a very short order, which allowed us to start looking at live streaming these games. And then through our work, we ran into the Ontario dairy farmers of Ontario, and they came to the party and paid to stream the season. And I said to the dairy farmer, I said, look, this is a significant investment in our league. Thank you very much. But I said, it's got to be good. It's got to be great for you. Good for us, but great for you. And I think you saw that. We had, the banners in behind all the benches, the milk up program. And in the finals, you saw the kids drinking out of the milk bottles, the old fashioned milk bottles that were on ice. And in the interviews, and they were blown away that we did that. And they said, look, we want another year with you guys. So we're in talks with them now, and hopefully just another year. Hopefully it'll be a long-term relationship. But you know what? We're going to go out there. I got a great business development committee. Frankie asked me about my experience. Also, Bob Hunter. You probably know him, Frank.
In
Bob
charge
Hunter,
of building BMO and MLS.
We did the MasterCard set again. So I got to know him sitting on the other side of the table, him representing MLC. He was a former general manager of the Sky Dome. He ran Ontario Place. But this guy, we had a very good relationship, became great friends. So now he's on my side of the table, brought Bob in. Peter Brody, I don't know if you know Peter Brody. He's a big lawyer in Toronto. And he's also a part owner of the Kraken out in Seattle now. And he's on the Hockey Canada board. So I know Peter very well. He came in. Rob Godfrey, Paul Godfrey's son, former vice president of the Blue Jays, a very good friend of mine. So I brought him in. And then we got Jason Shuttleworth kind of chairing it right now. We're probably going to add some people to it. But we're going to go out there this winter. It's going to be a busy winter. And I want to put this league on some stable footing and just drive it forward. Like I said, there's the live streaming JVI knocked it out of the park. I met with Gary a few weeks ago, and there's some tweaks I want to do. One of the things I want to see is the 30-second clock. We up in the corner. That's one of the comments we got to see the 30-second clock. And then I want to have some banners so we can really go after those sponsors. My daughter Colleen was a wizard on the social media. We had 2 million impressions in those 3 weekends on Twitter. And I think it was 170,000 viewers in short order. And I said, we just put it together probably 2 weeks before. And if we had any more time to advertise it and get the word out, I think those numbers went through the roof. But they were watching from all over the states, U.S. college coaches, scouts were all there, but also watching from Texas, from Georgia, from California. Jason Shuttleworth was in California during part of the season. They were all watching the live stream, but the live stream quality, I think Gary touched on it, was nothing but spectacular. And and it was, like I said, done in very short order. So we get some more time to put that together. It's gonna be great. I want to bring a game of the week hopefully this year, and maybe 2 a Sunday showcase. But we got to set that schedule and look. But people want to, I'd love to live stream every game. I don't think at this point we can do it. I think JVI can handle at this point, but we're starting to get our door knocked down by other companies that want us to live stream our games. So I just said, look, JVI's done such a bang up job for us on this modified season. They deserve another chance. So we're in talks with them for next year.
Oh, fabulous. But it went one more step further too, because what I think you did with this little series here was a lot of these kids' junior careers were kind of in shambles because they lost a year and a half. I almost lost a second year. And coming up to the end of their juniors and the NLL drafts and things like that, and they really had nothing to go on other than when they were green. By having this, a lot of these guys developed in a very short order, and they came and played way above their what they were leveled at. So a few of them got drafted.
Those 22-year-olds, it was very important to us to get them on the floor. So, you know, we got the 22s on the floor. They lost a whole year. You know, a lot of these kids looking to get drafted. And I think because we live streamed the games, we had a lot of scouts here already from the NL coming up. They're already here, but you know, the guys that didn't make it, they watched it live. And I'll tell you, a lot of kids went, and I think one of our players went in the top 10 that they said should have been there, but because he live streamed and people saw it. So yeah, that was important. We got those 22ers on the floor, and they got showcased, and a lot of them got drafted. And yeah, that was another huge bonus for sure.
It does show you how much of a vacuum there was at the time too. Not to take away any of the excitement of what you're talking about, but people are hungry for stuff. You know, we're starting to see, you know, sports come back live. Fans want to be a part of what's going on. But when you can't even have the players get involved, that's a big sucking sound out of what we do every day. So when you open this, you really did transcend what the OJLL is really about. It went further than that.
Yeah, I talked, like I said, there with Doug Ford last night, the premier, and he said everybody's just, you know, hungry to get out there. And then just having dinner with the girls last night was like, you know, it's kind of good to kind of get back to semi-normal. But, you know, I'm a season ticket holder down at the Scotiabank for the Leafs and the Raptors. But, you know, having you know, a third of the fans in there, it just doesn't cut it for me. You want a full house in it, and for the players, I think it was good for all the players from whatever sports you're like, hey, you guys are nothing without the fans, right? But I tell you, those kids want to get back on the floor, and I think people were dying to watch lacrosse, and just the comments we got, it was just great to see. But yeah, you're right, Frank. People were looking for something, and like I said, the numbers were incredible for the very short order we put together. But yeah, people just want to get out of these houses. We want to get back to normal as soon as we can.
And the kids are excited about playing, like you said, and as Gary said, it gave them an opportunity they otherwise wouldn't have had. And it must have been was it challenging to narrow the teams that could participate? Did you have to say no when you didn't want to, but because of the way the thing was put together so quickly?
No, we got all the teams. Like I said, we had the modified season. Working with Billy Greer was phenomenal. We put the schedule together. And no, all the teams, we got all the teams off. It was really, and it kind of brought me when, you know, everybody playing in the track all together. It was great because people are, you know, after the Mimico game, played Brampton, you know, you saw Whitby and St. Catharines played, and people, they wanted to hang around. We couldn't do it but I think it was really good to have everybody in that building. So that's something I'd be looking at down the road for next season. I think I talked to Gary about this at the Argo game a couple weeks ago. I'd love to drop a box in Lamport Stadium on that artificial turf. I've already talked to the city about it. I'd love to do a reverse summer classic. Instead of a winter classic, of a summer classic. And I've talked to Nick Sakavich about it at the NL. They're very interested in partnering with us on what that's going to be. But my idea was to have all the teams play in our league on that weekend, starting Friday night, probably have Mimico play the Beach for the Crombie Cup, but then start at noon. With our league play. Also in the morning, we bring in all the minor teams in from across the province and do an interactive for the younger kids. And then, you know, I helped organize in 1997 the celebrity game in Mimico, which we brought all the guys out: John Ferguson, Shanahan, Domi, Rocky DiPietro, Gary from the Ticats, Herbie Coon from the Raptors. We had an unbelievable John Ferguson senior played. It was awesome. And so I'd like to look at doing that, and I'm talking to how we can bring the NL in. They're very interested in partnering with, but I think we could fill Lamport up if we do it right, and that's one of the things I want to look at. the logistics of putting a box in there on that turf, we can't really go through it. It's brand new turf, but we're going to be talking. That's one thing I'm probably going to hand off to Bob Hunter to look into that. But we've got some numbers and we're putting a budget together now. But that's one thing I would like to do. And also we have the Minto coming. We have a Minto meeting coming up, I think, next week also. And it was too bad St. Catharines had it and the Ontario games involved, and that kind of fell apart because of COVID. So, yeah, the Minto will be played here in Ontario. Not too sure yet. We have a meeting coming up. So, yeah, those are some of the things I'm looking at doing.
I know that maybe this is you're the wrong person to ask this question, but we asked the commissioner and we've asked a few other people about the fact that the Toronto Rock moved to Hamilton. Is there a void? And I know this isn't your area because you're West Toronto, East Toronto and East Lacrosse, the National Lacrosse League. Do you see that maybe down the road something for those people out there that love the game? We have a real good contingent of fans and a history out there by Peterborough.
Frankie, you're getting me in trouble with my buddy out there.
I know.
If I say too much.
I know.
I know. Listen. I met. I was quite involved with Bill Waters and Brad Waters when they had the Rock, and then Jamie bought it. He was looking for a new home. Working. He was kind of last place always at Scotiabank. There's such a busy schedule. He felt kind of was at the back of the line, and the costs and the revenues. I don't think he was getting what he wanted to, so he made the decision to go to Hamilton. That's his decision, and you're right, but I don't know. That'd be probably a question for Commissioner Skavich on. Oh,
we got the answer. We got the answer, Mark. It ain't happening.
I don't know if there's a clause in there that Jamie has the right, so I don't know. But listen, Jamie, he loves this game. This guy loves the game of lacrosse. I just think everything we can do to expand and grow the game, it's good. But the NLL is more of a business decision than our league at this point. But yeah, listen, I'd love to grow the game and grow it the right way.
No, I understand the answer, and I understand the commitment that needs to be appreciated and the partnerships that are put together. So I understand that. It wasn't a question to try and say, let's walk away from Jamie Dowick, because he can't do that. He's a part of lacrosse in Southern Ontario. That wasn't my concern. My concern was more specifically because the National Lacrosse League has grown from a big city thing, and it is kind of coming back to a big city thing, where the smaller centers are really where lacrosse seems to have the opportunity to be professional. In other words, the National Lacrosse League. I know Las Vegas belies that, and some other centers belie that. But for me, it's about having been involved in lacrosse as long as I have a deep respect for those people out there at the west end of Ontario that love the game of lacrosse, and I'm only asking for them. That's all.
Eastern, you're talking East now, right?
East, sorry, buddy. Yes. I'm sorry.
No, listen, Whitby, I tell you about Whitby, Oshawa out there, huge centers, looking right out there. It's I hear you loud and clear for sure. And I don't know, I think I said this to Paul, I don't know if I did or not, but I said, is Hamilton going to cheer for a team called Toronto Rock? I don't know. I said, I thought Jamie might look at changing the name, but
I think that
they go to that Ticat Stadium. I don't know if they're going to cheer with
I think you alluded to the reason why it's going to stay the Toronto Rock. I think you said something that's probably
Mr. Dawick, that's his decision, but I don't know.
Hey, listen, whatever.
Tough on Toronto.
Whatever Jamie does is fine with me. The man has done nothing but promote the game. He's done nothing but make lacrosse, be the bedrock of what lacrosse is in Southern Ontario. I mean, we heard it already. You proved it without saying thank you. I don't think hard enough, even though I know you would, is that the OJLL wouldn't have had what happened to them without Jamie. I want to repeat that. I want people to hear that.
The OJLL.
OJLL, sorry.
I rebrand. That was the first thing I did.
We've rebranded.
You got me. But no, listen, when we went out there with Bill Greer to look at and I should say, another great guy I have is Bob Cleve. He came on to be my deputy commissioner. I said, Bob, you got to, and he made the decision to come and with me, which is great. But we walked out, Bob Cleve, myself, and Jamie, to kind of, and Bill Greer, to look at the facility, how we'll move people because of the COVID situation. And Jamie had a chance to talk, kind of go through the whole facility. And, he put his personal money where his mouth for this game. And I'll tell you, I asked him, I said, this is phenomenal. Put the new turf field in the second arena. But he said there's not much he would change on building that facility. And then you look at, you got the field across on the side of it now. It's just an absolute world-class facility for lacrosse, and we got to see more of those built. But you know, to find land in this city, it's as you know, it's expensive. But I'm telling you, that is just an absolutely fantastic facility. My young grandson JD Serena, he was out there. He's playing out there the last couple of weeks, just learning the game and some of their development programs. So it's a great facility, just not only for Oakville. It's good for the GTA.
Absolutely, I go as far as saying Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
Now, when you got back into to the OJLL, right away, you hit the ground running. You talked about that, but you also got a couple of problems solved immediately. Six Nations would be the first one to come to mind, and their team, the Arrows, leaving to go to a different league, and you right away got Cody Jamieson, and away we went.
Yeah, so I jump into it. I go, oh, here we go. Jumped in the fire right away. That new league was starting up, and then the mess in Six Nations. So I got to meet Cody James. It was absolutely fine young man, great lacrosse player to tell you guys, but fine leader in his community. Him and Randy Stats stepped up and said, "Listen, we'll take the bull by the horn here," and it was great to see that. And it's just very important to our league, Six Nations. It's a great organization. We want them for a very long time, and I thank Randy and Cody for really stepping up to the plate. But yeah, we were getting sued by that new league, and I finally got after talking to our lawyers, and I ended up calling one of the gentlemen from the new league. I said, look, we got deep pockets, you got deep pockets, and you want to spend money on lacrosse, or you want to spend on the kids. So we came to a resolution. I got the lawsuit to go away, and that was music to my ears. And here we are. We had a great season. And you know what? Next year, like I said, it's going to be a busy winter for us. I'm looking at expansion myself, Frank, as you talk about expansion. So hopefully 2023, I'm going to be looking to expand it, probably one, possibly two teams. I've got some proposals in already, had some great chats with those centers. And I think 2023 we'll be adding one or two teams, I'm pretty sure, with my board approval. But I've got some good proposals here, and we're going to we're going to look at expanding.
Now, how did you come across? You had your committee there, Keenan, Paul Day, and Garrison. How did you come across these guys to be the committee and to discuss these?
Well, just talking. There was an advisory committee kind of set up, and I really didn't know. I kind of knew Aaron Garrison through my daughter, but no, I said these are the guys, and called them up and said, look, I need you guys to step up and help me. That they were so awesome. They stepped up, and we had a couple of great meetings on Zoom, obviously, but really, really talented, great minds, forward thinking. And it was, like I said, it was Eddie Como, Paul Day, and Derek Keenan on the call. I don't think Code, but then we had Ian Garrison. So I think it was really the four of us. We went through the rule changes, but these guys get it, and they know we can't sit back, on our roles. We gotta move this game forward, and they get that. The guys, my business development committee, we gotta get some money in our account here, build it up and get some money behind this league, and money solves a lot of problems. But promoting the game, live streaming the game, getting it out, and I bring people to games that've never seen lacrosse, and they are just blown away by it. So I brought Lisa McLeod. I brought the minister out for the final game, and she loved it, right? And for the opening, I brought my good friend Nav, super fan. He came up for the opening face-off, and he came up and watched the first period. He's like, "Oh, this is like basketball, but it's rough." But he loved it. Like, he'd never seen the game, so it was great to have him out, show a little bit of diversity with Nav, and the kids were fired up to see him. We had all the four teams on the floor for the opening game, and they had to move over to the second floor. So Nav was off as the two teams are coming to move from floor to floor. They're all giving high fives. He had his big honking NBA ring on, and they were fired up. But it was, Nav loved it. You show people this game, and and that's very important, the grassroots level. We got to get these kids playing. I remember when my son Jonathan, who's now 36. I coached the peanut team in Mimco. I had 11 kids total. I'd march into Whitby, and they were drawing an all-star team from 6-8 teams, right? And we had 11 kids total. Mimco kind of went on a little bit of a slide there. Ruby Lang, God bless her, just passed away not too long ago, and Barb Cormier, two Hall of Famers in the Imperial Lacrosse thing. They kind of held it together in Mimco, and then it's full steam ahead back in the late 80s and 90s, and took off. And getting the junior B lacrosse back was big in Mimico, and then now we got the A team back in Mimico. So my kids are all Mimico, and it's just I miss it. I got 2 young grandsons now, and I just can't wait to get them get back in the barns across Ontario watching lacrosse.
Well, I love coming to the barn in Mimico. A Friday night there, the back bacon sandwich and a good game is second to none. Second to none.
But all the barn, up in Orillia, the old barn in Orillia, there's some really great barns out there that you just love going to. But the big facility in Whitby, spent a lot of time out there. But I can't wait to get back. I coached Max Domi in the day. Max Domi and Ryan Fitzgerald, Tommy Fitzgerald, played for the Leafs. I coached Ryan and Max when they were 7, 8 years old. But there's another lacrosse player, Max Domi, and I think I don't know if where Ryan is now, but Mimico, phenomenal.
How important? I know you're originally from Orillia. I'm up here in Wasaga, by the way. So no, I'm just saying. And we've got a lacrosse league here in Wasaga, a lacrosse club here in Wasaga as well. How important is identifying the game in the community? Like you keep saying Mimico, lacrosse, and how important is that, let's say, in other communities to help promote the game?
Well, it's huge. Mimico is one of I think it is the oldest, I think, besides maybe BC. It's one of the oldest organizations. 1890 it came in, and I remember when I was a kid, and I don't know if Frank remember, it was called the Drummond Bowl. There was no roof on it. We played outdoors. The guys all changed in the box cars. You just got to walk in the arena and look in the showcase of all the old pictures, the guys who have played there. But rich history of lacrosse, and I think of teams like Peterborough and Brampton and Orangeville. Just the guys are still all involved, right? From the Sandersons up in Orangeville, they're just all involved when they leave the game, and their kids are everyone giving back. And it's so important for the kids that I've gone through, and I've always told this to my boys, and you've gone through and been coached, and then you've gone to the rep teams, and you played junior B, you played junior A, but giving back to the game, and we're seeing that in Mimico quite a bit. These players that we finished playing junior B are now coaching the young guys in house league, which is great. Because back in Mimico in the day, they all just grab Mr. Smith there and put behind the bench, doesn't even know the game. But now we have guys that know the game, and it's great. But no, the community of Mimico. I remember back in the day, the guy be driving around in the station wagon with the little speaker on the top announcing the game. Mimico Arena tonight, great. But it's the community's huge to get behind it, right? And it takes a lot of money to run these teams. Like
yes.
To run a budget for a junior A team, you need the community behind you, right? You need those sponsorship dollars, and we're gonna try and work on a bigger level, get some major sponsors, take a little bit more pressure off these teams, right? But we got to get money behind the league, and get these teams worrying about playing lacrosse and about how they're going to get to the Minto if they win out in BC. We got to get some money behind the league. So, but we got, like I said, Bob Cleveley's been just a wealth of experience for me. Bob's been around the game longer than I have, and very well respected, and I'm just enjoying working with him.
Now, Frank usually asks this question when we start the show, and I'm going to bring us to it now. What was it that got you into lacrosse at the start? What was the be-all, end-all? It's like, this is the game.
Well, for me, I didn't play organized lacrosse. I played lacrosse in school. We really didn't play. My gym teacher was Brian Butch Keegan, played for the Toronto Shooting Stars way back in the day. So I remember, I was in kid. He was our teacher, and I remember he was a pro lacrosse player. But just growing up, our first house was in Mimico. Our kids were all born in Mimico, and Mimico, you're a young kid, you play lacrosse, and so I got involved coaching. My son wanted to play, and that's how I really got involved. And then the junior B team came in, and they put me on the executive there, and really enjoyed. And then we got the junior A team now. So now I'm no kids in Mimico. I have no hat. I'm neutral. I'm the commissioner, so I love every team. And but no, it's just getting involved, and I said the teams you play on, whether it's hockey or lacrosse, but lacrosse a little bit more is because all summer you're spending time with these parents, in between games. And we started in Mimico, Tent City. I don't know if you guys know what Tent City is, but when you pull into Whitby, when I first started, I had a big Suburban, all the kids in the back, and I pulled up, and Jamie Taguri tells this story, who's one of the fathers, who's a great friend of mine since the kids were small. He'd say, Grimes pulls in a Suburban, pops open the hatch, fires up the hibachi. He's got the shrimp on a stick. He's got the spaducci going. We're like, what? And then that just morphed. Next week, people started bringing stuff. Then we brought a tent. And now all the teams have taken it on. So you see Mimico in any arena, any summer. It's called Tent City. And, we feed other teams. It's just the things we did on those barbecues, from lobsters to baking cakes to whatever we barbecued, it was fun. But, Tent City was, you're spending a lot of time with these parents, and it's fun, right? It's a lot of fun. Sometimes more fun in the parking lot than in the arena, but it's great. It's a great game, and it's just great to hang out with a lot of these parents.
Nothing that breeds that kind of a society, if you will, than something like that, than breaking bread together, right? So that really is a unifier. And
a little maybe a red cup or so, but yeah, no, just hanging out in the parking lot. Sometimes you got 3-4 hours between games. It's good, and like I said. And these have been lifelong friends. And I said, having 4 boys play hockey and lacrosse, we have so many friends. Our whole network is, of friends is kind of, these are who you hang out with in the hockey rinks and in lacrosse. We have lifelong friends from lacrosse.
Like chosen family members, right?
Well, they are. And we had back at my house in Mimico, I built a tiki bar in the back. And I remember the kids of Mimico, we went to turn up in Peterborough. And I think the kids were 11, and Peterborough was getting their silver medals, and Mimico kids were waiting for their gold medals, and the kids started tapping their sticks on the floor, and they're going tiki bar, meaning they want to go back to our place after. So we had a lot of parties. We won a lot of tournaments, so everyone would be back at our place. And now we've got our new house in Alderwood, which is even bigger. We got the pool there, so every time there's a big win, they'd all end up back here at our place, which we love. Our place is, the door's always open. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You said that, you're neutral now. You love everybody. Nick Zakevitz, the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League, sat back for a little while and got to know what makes an NLL franchise and how to be successful, how not to be successful, developed basically a template. And he steers and he guides all the teams, or at least the league does anyway. Do you feel that that's a good plan maybe for you as well in your league?
Well, listen, you can't be the smartest guy in the room. You got to put good people around you, which I think I've done. You got to kind of step back and look and see. And I ask a lot. I talked to Bob, and I talked to a lot of people. If I'm going to bring something forward, Mel Lastman taught me this. I never was a counselor under Mel Lastman. You never go to your board meeting with a vote you're going to lose. So I'm a guy that pick up the phone, talk to the governors. What do you think on this? What do you think on that? Talk to other people. Even during the modified season, I ask people's opinion on it. So that you can't be the smart. You have to circle yourself around with some really good people, which I think we've done. I've got this business development committee. A lot of these guys have great experience. So working together, strength in numbers, and that's where we're going to go.
How will you help? For example, I guess I'll ask the question a little tighter. New expansion team comes in. Do you offer them a template of some sort to help them to not fall in traps that you, with your experience, in the league with its experience, can help highlight for them so that they don't step in in doo-doo when they're always good intentioned, right?
Yeah. So I've asked for, I've had talks with 2 centers. They got to put a proposal in. They're both very, very strong centers in lacrosse. They have junior B franchise, so they know, the junior B budget's probably worse than the junior A budget. So no, me as the commissioner got to make sure they have a solid plan that I'm going to bring to my board. And, the fees that come into the league, we're going to hopefully make sure that that's not a big burden on them right away. We haven't figured that out yet. I need to talk to the board about that. But no, we're going to help the best we can. But it's, it's a big budget. And then, like I said, you get back, Frank, how strong is their minor system? That's huge, right? There's other centers I'd like to look at, but they're not ready. I've already asked, but I'm looking to add to, hopefully, I don't want to rush it, go too fast, but I'm looking at, I asked the board for approval to go out and talk to a couple teams, in which they gave me. I've done that. I've got the proposals in now. I'm just sitting to wait to sit down with Bob Cleve to get together with him, but lots going on. With a lot of balls in the air right now with with the Minto. We got meetings on, and it's going to be a busy winter for the OJL.
Yeah, boat logo reference. High tides raise all boats.
And that's it.
It's also unprecedented times, is because there was a couple of years more or less without any games. The face of the league is going to change because so many kids are graduating. The teams that may have been the strangleholds on it, the Orangevilles, the Bramptons, Mimicos, are losing a bunch of players and have to rebuild now. So bringing in teams now, probably a good time because everybody's coming in basically at the same level.
Yeah, I think for sure. And, it's a cycle, right? But, like the Bramptons, the Orangevilles are always very strong. But one of the things I really want to look at, and this is breaking probably for you guys, but I really want to look at this trading players for cash, right? I just want to get rid of it. I think it's a terrible thing to have in the league, trading players for cash. So, I think it's draft picks is what you want to be trading. But, what I've looked at, some of the stuff that's happened here in the past, that's one I'd be looking at to get rid of that for sure, because I don't think it's good for the health of our game, and I do think it's not for our league. That's my opinion, and I got to get my board to agree to that. But I just think it's something we want to get out of.
It's only short-term good.
Yeah, and you know what? It's before my time, I had that league, the team up in Barrie. I didn't know the gentleman. So there was. He would sell off the draft picks, and the team's always in the basement. That's what I kind of heard from the past. But it's just not good for lacrosse. You want everything to cycle around, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want a dynasty. It's not good for the game. You want other teams to win it, and there's a few teams that were favored in this modified season that didn't win it. But you look in professional sports and baseball. You look at the Tampa Bay Rays. They got the lowest payroll going, and they got a great team, right? One of the greatest teams in baseball. So, trading for cash, I don't think it's in the future of our league.
Yeah, hope is everything in sport, whether it's the fans, the players.
Absolutely.
But what a showcase game you had for that final. Like, you had everything. Like, you have Nav, you had Doug Gilmore on the face-off as well.
Oh, no, Nav was for the opening, and I had Dougie come out. I don't know if you saw the video I did, Gary, leading up. So we were kind of building some excitement. Who's going to do the opening face-off? So did you see the video I did with all the NHL guys?
Mm-hmm.
So I went out the line. I got Bolin, I got Dennis Marouk, and I had who else we had? We had David Bolin, we had Dougie Gilmore. Who am I missing? Anyway, we had them passing the ball. Shanny right. Started with the ball. Bobby Allen behind the back, a pass, and then my grandson passed it to Shanny, and then went to the. So yeah, so Nav coming out was think big, make your league big, and think big, and then Dougie coming out, great former lacrosse player. Dougie came out and did the with Minister McLeod, which I want to recognize her for really getting us back on the floor. But you know what, we got to think big. There's nowhere to go but up, and that's where we're heading.
But you also had a game that had absolutely everything. That finals game, you have a 1-goal game final. You have players thrown out. You have fights. You have hits. You have score. You have highlight reel goals. You have an absolute professional boom. And you have JVI doing an absolute bang-up job. You couldn't ask for anything else for your showcase.
Yeah, it was, it was, that's, I don't take credit for that. That's the kids on the floor. But we saw some great lacrosse. Really all the way through that 3 weeks. Just great games back and forth and close, very close games all the way through. I had a chance to talk to Don Koharski. He came up. He's the new referee in chief for the NLL, but great guy. Had a great chat with Don. The commissioner told me he's coming up. Make sure you look after him. So we had a great chat with Don there, and I went by the table. He had his own table up there watching. And he was scouting the referees, and someone dropped a box of Tim Horton donuts.
No, boy.
He said, Grimesy, did you happen to put these donuts on I said, Don, I swear to God it wasn't me. But I said, pick them up. This will be good for social media. Pick that. We got a picture. We stuck it on social media. Have another donut. We put it on there. But what a great sport he was. But, there's another thing, guys. Talking to Don, on the referee side, I have to tell you guys, you're going to some of these barns and these parents are, on these young referees that, we got to promote the referees also, right? And our guys, our referees here in Ontario, a lot of these guys will go on to the NLL. So I said to Don, it's we got to work with the OLA and and also bring these referees along, right? So that's another part of our plan to work with the OLA and with the NLL. So, you know, working together is where it's at. This U.S. box is huge on the move in the States. Is there opportunity to bring these guys up for some kind of, you know, cup? We'll look at that. But, you know, I don't want to bite off too much at this point. I want to just get our league in the stable footing and just move it forward and get a normal season off the ground, right?
A consensus here on this show with all the guests that we had, there was one common thread through all of it. And it was, of course, that the referee should be shown more respect, and refereeing is very important. And the game and the rules is, I guess we're gone full circle now with the 9 rules, and then with the referees being respected and teaching our children to respect the officials.
Well, there you go. Another thing I'm going to be looking to bring in is a code of conduct. I've asked Bob Cleve the other day to look to see what we have, but you know, we're going to reach out to some other leagues and look. But I want to bring a code of conduct in. You know, all the stuff happening now with the Indigenous community and the Black Lives Matter, all this stuff. There's no room for it in our game. As this country changes fast, the new Canadians coming in here, we want to get some of these new Canadians from across, right, and get them playing. It's, you know, it's just not a game for you know, it's a game for everybody. We got to get the young kids into the game, no matter where they're from. And like this, they come to our country, you know, everyone wants to play hockey, but when they see lacrosse, hey, let's play lacrosse. So we got to promote the game at the grassroots level. And if we don't have the grassroots level, we don't have the junior B, junior A, we don't have the NLL. So that's pretty important. Yeah,
you can't let ignorance become a problem. You know, people aren't all intentionally bad, right? It's about ignorance, really.
Yeah, we're not going to put up with any of that. You know, we got to, and even the referees, I want to take the names off the back of the sweaters. You know, we don't need, you know, I've spent enough time in lacrosse and probably was guilty of it myself in my younger years as a parent. But you know what? It's just respect, number one. And like I said, right now, I say, who the hell would want to be a police officer in the city of Toronto right now? But who want to be a referee when the money you do make as a young kid and you're getting abused in the stands? No room for it in the game anymore.
Yeah, Doug Louie did. He was on our show a few weeks ago also, and he made the exact same comments. And when he put on the MSL tournament after yours, they basically had a no tolerance thing for that.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. And I've had good discussions with Doug on a couple of occasions. So, you know, working with the MSL, it's another, you know, I still would like to take another kick at looking at this U22 and seeing we can, you know, get the 22-year-olds staying in our league, but that's another conversation. There's just a whole lot to do, and only so much to do. And I've got my city job too, so there's a whole lot to do. But I got a great team around us, and hopefully we can knock a lot of this stuff off. And like I said, the next 2-3 years, you're going to see a different league and a different outcome in Ontario for lacrosse.
The last couple of minutes here, I want to make sure that on behalf of the show and on behalf of lacrosse fans, thank you for doing what you do, because, you know, Councillor Grimes, to want to do something is easy, but to have the wherewithal and the connections to do it is a necessity. I know we only have a couple of minutes left. How important has that outreach ability that you've had to make stuff like this happen, and the trail of things that you've done?
Well, listen, being a Toronto City Councillor, you know, it's been, I can't believe it's going to be my 5th term. And it is my 5th term. I can't believe 19 years next year. But, you know, sitting on the board of the Hockey Hall of Fame, like, you know, sitting beside Harry Sinnen and Glenn Sather and, you know, Jimmy Gregory and Scotty Morrison. It just, you know, the contacts I've made through these committees I've sat on. I remember I was driving my first term. I was driving along the Gardiner and the phone rang. Unknown caller. I picked up the phone and said, hello. And it goes, Mark, it's Paul Godfrey. How are you? I need your help. I said, oh my God, Paul Godfrey's calling, needs my help. So got to know Paul. I have breakfast with Paul probably every 3-4 months, not since COVID, but I talked to Paul the other day. He's a senior advisor to me, but, you know, meeting all these contacts, the guys like Bob Hunter and Peter Brody's, Bill Manning, you know, Pinball Clemens, a good friend. I chaired the Argo Foundation. So, you know, I was the lead on the Pan Am Games, you know, meeting great people, athletes. It's kind of molded who I am, but, you know, it's important to give back. And I just think, you know, I can bring some stuff to the table here. But again, it's just not me. We got a great team. But yeah, having those contacts sure doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
I just want to thank you for taking the time. out of this busy schedule of yours to talk with us. It's spectacular. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, no, listen, I appreciate it, guys. And Gary, it was nice meeting you at the our game. Always got time for you guys, but yeah, no, exciting times, and we're going to be we're driving this league forward. So look forward to seeing you guys in the box somewhere in Ontario.
Oh, you know, I'll be there.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great night.
We definitely will. For Councillor Mark Grimes, Gary Groob, I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Lacrosse NLL Talk, seen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Lacrosse Talk, news, entertainment, and other sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you again next Thursday.